Good morning and welcome to Manitou headquarters here in West Bend, Wisconsin. We're here for a very exciting virtual product launch event today. We can't tell you how grateful we are that you're spending some time here with us on a Friday afternoon, Friday morning, depending on where you're at. And it's because we have something really cool to share with you today. The launch of the all-new MLT 850 Agricultural Telehandler from Manitou. I'm here with Dean Summer, Product Training Specialist at Manitou, and we're going to get into the machine in just a second, but a few kind of pieces of housekeeping before we do. Throughout the event today, you'll notice a Q&A box here at the bottom of the screen. You can ask questions throughout the event, and when we get to the live Q&A session here in about 20-25 minutes or so, we will go through those questions. We'll ask them of Dean. A special treat, the man, the myth, the one and only Steve Kiskunas will be joining us for that live Q&A as well. So take the time, ask the questions. If we don't get to your question during the live Q&A, we will have someone from the team follow up with you after the event today. So what we're going to do here is we're going to do a walk around. We're going to show you the high points of the new MLT 850 Agricultural Telehandler. And without any further ado, Dean, what is it we're looking at here today?
Thanks, Bill. Today, we're looking at the all-new MLT 850 Ag Telehandler from Manitou. This is an all-new ag-specific telehandler for the North American market that joins our family of ag telehandlers. With the introduction of this machine, we now offer 12 different models within the Manitou ULM and MLT product ranges. The greatest thing about the all-new 850 is that it sits in a really good spot between the existing MLT 841 and the MLT 961. It's not as big as the 961, but features some of the same heavy-duty components, more comparable with our larger models for added strength and power.
Now, that's great, Dean. Talk me through the product nomenclature on it a little bit. MLT 850, sure. What is that going to mean to the operator of this machine?
Sure. First thing, MLT stands for Manitou Loader Telescopic. That tells you this is part of our agricultural range. The 8 stands for 8 meters of lift height, just under 25 feet at 24 feet 11 inches. The 50, that stands for 5 metric tons of maximum capacity. It's 11,021 pounds of capacity.
And we're calling this an agricultural telehandler. For people who might not know the differences, tell me what that means and what makes this specially suited for the ag industry.
It does a little bit of everything, Bill. Whether you're loading bulk material into a trailer, loading silage, manure, loading a feed mixer wagon, stacking hay and straw bales, handling and filling big bags, or loading compost or wood chips, and lots of other things. It's the attachment power and versatility that makes this an extremely valuable machine for the farm. If you think of it from a fleet management perspective, it really does the job of multiple machines.
So Dean, let's start up here at the business end of it. Looks like we've got a massive ag grapple on the front of this guy right now. Let's talk about some of the fun baseball card stats of this machine and what it's capable of.
Sure. As we mentioned, we've got just under 25 feet of lift height and a max lift capacity of just under 11,000 pounds. But that really only tells part of the story. For one, when you look at the boom, it's a double U-shaped boom design built for ground engaging work, just like the rest of the MLT lineup. So while it's a telescopic handler at heart, it's also built to have the strength and performance of other front-end loaders when working in ground engaging applications such as loading and scraping with a bucket. It's also built to be really strong and agile on the ground. There are 3 different tire options that will give you different traction profiles, and this machine actually has 1 inch more ground clearance than your 841. The Dana Spicer limited slip axles on both front and rear provide superior axle torque, and this machine offers 20% more drawbar pull than the nearest competitor. Where the MLT 850 really shines is as a multi-purpose machine thanks to dozens of different attachments available for the machine. The standard auxiliary hydraulics give you 26 gallons per minute of hydraulic flow and a maximum pressure of 3,400 psi, ideal for running attachments from bale stackers to silage defacers and grapple buckets.
So Dean, it looks like we've got a quick attach system on here. Tell the folks a little bit about that.
Yeah, it features a quick attach system that allows you to change attachments within just a few seconds, and an easy connect system that relieves the pressure from the hydraulic attachment line without turning the engine off, making it even easier to change attachments.
And this grapple bucket, this thing is massive, really impressive looking. We're not small men standing next to it. This looks like it's really built for ag applications.
Oh, for sure, for sure. This is a 3.4 cubic yard bucket, and you'll see it's designed to extend past the tires, so this prevents damage caused by overflow material when it's driven on.
And what's the max capacity working at the front end of the machine here, Dean?
Yeah, full forward reach, this does over 3,858 pounds, so it's a significant increase over the MLT 841.
Now let's talk a little bit about the hydraulics on this machine. Now, from aerial work platforms to forklifts, Manitou is really known for the smoothness, the comfort of its hydraulics. How does that compare to other Manitou machines when you look at an agricultural telehandler?
Yeah, this machine is extremely smooth, very responsive. One of its great features is the standard regenerative hydraulics. This allows the boom to smoothly lower using gravity, eliminating the heat and noise typically created when sending all that hydraulic oil back through the control valve. This allows for faster cycles, fuel savings, and less noise around the work area. We'll talk more about the comfort and controls when we get into the cab, but another way the hydraulics really help this machine is with the Active Comfort Ride Control, or Active CRC. And what this is, it's a boom suspension system that continuously cushions the boom while driving over rough terrain. This helps retain material when loading with the bucket and helps provide a smooth ride for the operator during both loading and hauling. It can be set to be always on, or it can be set to Active CRC, which automatically turns off when traveling below 2.5 miles per hour. And it turns right back on again as soon as you are above 2.5 miles an hour. This is helpful in applications where you slow down to push into a pile, such as loading silage and feedstuffs, to ensure the boom is strong and steady and locked in when you attack that pile.
So that boom suppression is important because these things spend a lot of time roading between point to point on a farm. And I'll get out of the way here, but the visibility, oftentimes when we think of machines like this, and you think of what the visibility down to the driver's side looks like, it often is maybe the more worrisome part of visibility. But if you look at the way this MLT 850 has been built, you can really see that a lot of thought and engineering has gone into making sure that the operator can see over the hood down to the work area. Tell the folks a little bit about what we're seeing here for visibility.
Oh, of course. You'll see that on this machine, it has a variety of mirrors to the front and right side of the machine. And depending on the configuration you get, we can have a right side camera here to really improve that overall visibility and awareness. The machine's design has also significantly improved visibility. You'll notice the sleek low profile hood design. And just like the other machines in the MLT lineup, the 850 here features a low mount boom design to allow for better visibility over the top of the boom while traveling. The cab height has also been raised to provide even more visibility, and the machine is still low enough to get in all the normal doorways and barns and other areas on the farm.
So the visibility piece of it, Dean, is huge, but there's actually a very practical benefit based on how the engine has been placed and designed along with the cooling system. Why don't we kind of go point by point through the engine compartment here and describe how that benefits operation as well as the visibility?
So this machine is powered by a 141 horsepower Yanmar turbocharged engine. And I hate to steal Steve Kiskunas' favorite feature, but the engine is mounted perpendicular to the frame. This gives you improved visibility and also provides easier access to some of those common service points, like our coolant overflow, our engine oil dipstick, as well as all of our filters, all laid out very, very easily to get at. You'll also notice here at the front of the engine compartment, we have a segmented cooling package. This means if for some reason one section becomes damaged, the good news is you only need to unbolt the damaged section and replace it with a new section. You don't need to purchase a complete cooling package. We all know it's a big challenge on farms is the fine debris that can get ingested into the engine compartments. Those buildups can add heat and poor airflow to the engine compartment, which isn't good for many reasons. As such, we've built in the standard reversing fan. It's set to operate in a timed interval or on demand, all inputted by the operator. You'll notice that at the bottom of the cooling package, we also have a built-in cleanout that allows for easy removal of debris.
And each of these features, here at Manitou, we talk all the time about total cost of ownership, lowering total cost of ownership. All of these features, in a way, do that for the eventual end user of this machine.
Yes, total cost of ownership is a main consideration factor when we update any machine. The easy access to the service points helps simplify services and ensure it's done right. And the cooling package and the reversing fan, the easy clean out feature all help to ensure the ongoing health and performance of the engine.
Very cool, very cool. Now, as we move around to the back of this guy here, Dean, we've got big counterweights here that give you a little bit of added lifting capacity. What else do you see here at the back end of the machine?
Sure, depending on the configuration, we've also got areas for a central grease point. These are manual greasing points for that axle trunnion, rear boom, lower lift cylinder, and the like. You'll see a mirror up here for backing up the trailer, as well as a supplied trailer hitch. And one configuration of this machine also provides a standard rear view camera for improved visibility and awareness. This machine has it.
Dean, that's a strong looking hitch on that guy there. What type of applications is that going to add some versatility?
Oh, that's going to be a great feature. When you're out in the field picking up bales with this machine, you can load them right on your trailer, put them on the wagon, you can hook the wagon to this, tow them right up to the farm right from there.
A little bit more of that all-in-one capability and ag telehandler like this provides.
So when we move over to the driver's side rear of the machine, you get a really nice view of the signal lights. Again, this is roadworthy. You have flashers, you have signal lights, reverse lights, it's all there. Here's where you also see the boom lock. This is to be used anytime work is being performed around the machine with the boom in an elevated position. You'll notice that this configuration also has an automatic greasing system. This greases all of the chassis and all of the boom locations, replacing the need to manually grease these areas. The automatic greasing can be adjusted from the cab, so when you're doing heavy duty work, you can increase the amount of grease being applied to those wear areas. You'll also see that on top of the cab, we've got our cab heat and AC components. They're housed up here in the rear of the cab, they're up out of the way and helps optimize the space inside the cab and keeps it up out of the dust and dirt from the work area. And then over here, as we get closer to the cab, you'll find our tamper-proof cover. This is where you'll find the diesel exhaust fluid, and hydraulic oil fill locations. We've intentionally added an extra step requiring a tool to open the hydraulic fill point to eliminate any accidental addition of diesel or DEF fluid into that hydraulic oil tank.
Yeah, I think that's real smart to protect that area. And then one of the things that I really like, I love seeing the auto greasing system on the back of this. We continuously talk about total cost of ownership in a world where you're not sure if people are doing the daily greasing. You're helping protect your investment, you're helping protect uptime, and that's a great thing. Last but not least then, we look at what looks like a very impressive operator's cab as we move forward here a little bit. Dean, tell me about this cab and what's going to stand out to the operator of this on a day-to-day basis.
The very first thing you're going to notice when you open up the door is the Manitou exclusive Easy Step. Here it's combined with 2 staggered stair steps and an underdoor light to allow for easy entry and exit of the cab, both day and night. Once you get inside the cab, you'll notice we've built in the quietest cab in the industry at 69 decibels. Inside, you'll find a cloth air ride seat with the Manitou exclusive JSM joystick that sits on an adjustable armrest to offer extreme adjustability based on that operator's size and preference.
Now that exclusive JSM joystick, that's really cool, and it's more than just a joystick, isn't it?
Oh, 100%, it really is. It allows you to control the movements of the machine with one hand, safely and without strain, while keeping the other hand on the steering wheel. From here, we can control the forward, neutral, and reverse. Our attachments, our telescope activity, our boom, and our crowd movements are all also controlled by the JSM. The JSM auto power function also automatically adjusts the engine speed according to the joystick movements operated by the driver's hand with no input from the foot or hand throttles. This simplifies the operation and leads to a significant savings in the long run because you're not using full throttle when you don't need to.
Dean, let's wrap it up by talking a little bit more about specifically that operator experience. Now, if you look inside the cab here, it's got a very automotive, intuitive feel to it. It's even got power windows.
Yeah, it's definitely got power windows. You also notice a one-piece windshield with an open roof structure for even better visibility. And there's a beautiful 7-inch display. And one of the coolest features about this machine is the double switch buttons. These color-coded buttons have all the logic built into the switch. If you have a switch that you use often and you'd like to put it in an easier spot to access, you simply unplug the switch, swap it around. The functionality stays with the switch. That's really cool. It's operator focused. It's a great feature on these MLT machines. While in the cab, we also need to talk about the 4 steering modes available on this machine. There's 2-wheel steer, which is front wheel steer. There's 4-wheel steer or circle steer. There's also crab mode and the Manitou exclusive Mani Crab, which gives you the ability to offset the back end of the machine outwards and allows you to scrape up against the wall or a structure without worrying about scraping the back of the machine or your tires against the wall or knocking something off of the wall. That's a great feature. It is a Manitou exclusive.
Part of the operator-focused design of this is also adding that comfort steering system. Really helps limit operator fatigue. Why don't you explain that to people and how that helps an operator on a day-to-day basis?
Oh, for sure. Comfort steering makes things really easy for the operator. With the comfort steering system active, the wheels will go from full all the way to the left to fully all the way to the right with 1 turn of the steering wheel. If you have it turned off, it takes 4 turns of the steering wheel to go full left to full right. This is automatically disabled for safety purposes. When the machine goes above 9 miles per hour or as that boom increases in angle, it will also turn that off. This machine also features intelligent hydraulic controls that significantly improve operation. This includes the quick lift functionality that automatically extends the boom as you raise it at the same time without any lag in the bucket. We have the bucket shaker feature, which helps shed material from the bucket without having to move the whole boom up and down repetitively. And then we have the return to load feature, which also allows the attachment and boom to return to a pre-selected position with just the push of a button. This machine features an M-Vario Plus transmission. It's a CVT transmission that provides you with very high traction and also gives you some options based on your preference. The comfort mode allows for slower, smooth speed changes, while the dynamic mode allows for more aggressive speed increases. That choice is up to the operator.
And as we talk about TCO, I mean, it's important to know that we have worked hard with these machines to reduce fuel use and to reduce service. There's some additional features in here that help reduce engine hours and engine idling, Dean.
Yeah, absolutely. Just under the standard operation, this machine is 20% more fuel efficient than the nearest competitor. And between the intelligent hydraulics, the transmission, and the start-stop idle time threshold feature, which is built into this thing, you can massively reduce your fuel use and significantly lower the amount of engine hours being put on a machine, which also means extended service intervals.
And Dean, in today's day and age, we have to talk about this. We're helping them keep connected to the machine as well. What do we have on here for telematics and that connected ability?
Absolutely. This machine comes with 6 years of connectivity with Manitou Easy Manager. This is the telematics that gives you not only the machine location, but the vital signs, the usage data, and it helps to improve the overall fleet management, stay ahead of the service intervals, and avoid costly downtime events. If you notice the machine is operating out of normal parameters, there's an Easy Manager app you can download to your phone or tablet for easy access to the machine data in the field.
And Dean, Manitou's really standing behind these machines, especially as they come to market well beyond initial delivery with lots of great aftermarket services.
Yeah, right. First of all, we've got maintenance kits available. When it comes time to do a 500-hour service on this machine, you're going to order 1 kit, 1 part number. It's going to come with all the filters you need to do that particular maintenance. We also have extended coverages available. And the extended coverage you can purchase either at time of purchase with the machine or all the way throughout the life of the standard warranty. You can purchase extended coverage if you would like.
All about lowering that total cost of ownership so that for the lifetime of this machine, it's profitable, it's working, and it's being productive for the people that add this to their fleets.
100%.
Thank you, Dean. That's a great overview. And as you could tell, Manitou has put just a ton of thought and design and engineering into a very application-specific machine with the launch of the all-new MLT 850. We're about to throw to the live Q&A where you're going to have an opportunity to ask our panel questions. It's going to be Dean and it's, again, the one and only Steve Kiskunas. Steve's standing outside. He'll be joining us in just a moment. And in the meantime, put your questions down in that Q&A box. We'll get to your questions here in just a moment. But before we do that, we've got a fun video to share with you. It's not this model, but it's the 841, the little brother to this model. And a great application story. We went out and visited with the folks at Harner & Sons about a year ago to see how they're using agricultural telehandlers in their day-to-day work. And I think it really drives home just how versatile these machines are. We'll see you in just a couple of minutes for the live Q&A.
Austin Harner from Mendon, Ohio. Me and my dad farm about 3,500 acres, 1,500 acres of corn and beans, and then the rest is a wheat rotation. Bale about 100,000 little bales of straw a year and about 10,000 big squares of straw. Grandpa actually started the farm in 1926, and I'm the third generation, and I have 3 boys of my own and then a daughter, so that's where Harner and Sons kind of came in. I really take pride in our wheat and straw. We're doing quite a bit with 4 or 5 guys in a matter of 10 days. I mean, technology is one thing that we're gonna have to use, because that's why we kind of had to move towards the Telehandler the way we did, using the grapple, and we have 5 self-propelled bale stackers, and just kind of the machinery that we're using nowadays has really helped us come a long ways. We used to run everything with a skid loader. Biggest disadvantage with the skid loader is reach and height. We can only stack 9 high with the skid loader, and then some of these bigger barns that we got, we're actually stacking 13 high, and we can get all the height out of them bigger barns that we can get. We don't hardly ever trailer our telehandler. Everything we got's within 10 or 15 miles, and we can kind of just cruise back and forth from field to field if we need to. Like when we're picking up big bales, we'll drop the grapple and we'll pick up all of our big squares in the field with a telehandler, and it's a lot faster than you can with a skid loader. We use that machine pretty much every day. I mean, we've only had it for 2 months and we've had almost 200 hours on it. It works great for us because of the long reach. I mean, there's places where you can't quite get up to the tile in a skid loader, and or if you need to dump over a ledge or something, you can't quite get there with a skid loader, so the long reach works really well. You can have any attachment unhooked and hooked within 30 seconds, so that's been a lifesaver for us too there. I really like the backup camera, and it has a boom camera on it. That really helps. And then the cab of it, I mean, it's real futuristic in the cab. It's got all the leveling buttons and stuff that you need on the inside, so the cab is really nice. We can get that in and out of any barn that we need to. Some payloaders, it's pretty tight, and I think the visibility out of that thing is really good too. There's nothing that we've been able to not lift with that machine. I think I've lifted 8,000 or 9,000 pounds with it and never had any trouble. The hydraulic release has actually been one of the best things for me, because it's not always me unhooking it and hooking it back up. It might be a new hired hand guy that we got coming in or out. So anytime that we're in the barn moving hay, we're always working multiple different functions, whether we're raising it up, booming it out, grabbing, or turning. So sometimes we're using 3 different hydraulic functions, and there's no hesitation whatsoever. I guess when I think of Manitou, I think about their telehandlers and the quality. I mean, you can tell it's a good, well-built machine, and make it user-friendly for anybody to just grab a grease gun, walk up to the machine, make sure it's greased, maintained well, even checking the oil, some of the simple things like that. Sutter Brothers has really helped us in every aspect, getting us what we needed, getting the exact machine that fit our farm. Basically just a phone call away, and we can have everything here within that day or very next day. Some of the other competitors, they couldn't have the customer service that Manitou did for us. A Manitou telehandler is the way to go. You're not going to put seed bags and chemical totes in your barn with a payloader, and we can do anything that a payloader can, if not better.
Hey everybody, welcome back, and thank you again for joining us for this great live product launch event today. We are now entering the Q&A phase, and we've added another member of the team here. Dean remains with us, and I built you up quite a bit during the build-up here, Steve. The one and only Steve Kiskunas, product manager for Telescopic handlers here at Manitou, is here as well. Thank you again for joining us. Just going to go over a couple of quick house rules here for the Q&A. There's more than 80 of you here in the room. We're probably not going to get to all of the questions here today. If you have asked a question and we don't get to it today, either Steve or Dean or another member of the Manitou training team will get back in touch with you, and we'll get that question answered for you. So guys, one of the few questions that came in here as things were kicking off today, the first question I'll ask you, and this seems like a pretty good one to start with. What is the difference between an ag telehandler and a construction telehandler?
Thank you, Bill. Really, an agricultural telescopic handler is designed for the task that's needed to be done. So typically you're going to find a higher horsepower engine in an agricultural telescopic handler. You'll find better hydraulics, a larger hydraulic pump to give that excellent performance in the hydraulic side of the machine. And then also the auto-reversing cooling fan on the engine compartment, keep that debris out of the radiator and the cooling system. Our machines in North America also include the hydraulic locking quick attach to make changing attachments so much easier.
Very cool, very cool. An eagle-eyed person during the walk around noticed the QR codes on the windows. What are those
Yes.
QR codes for, Steve?
Yes, the QR codes are located right here, and you can easily get more information about the product by simply scanning the QR code, and then it will take you to the website where you'll have more information about the operation, attachments, other vehicle information, all stored on the website based off the QR code.
So giving people that real-time access to information that they'll want to know during the day-to-day operation there. That's great. Dean, I'm going to throw this one to you. You know, as you look at, we talked about this one sitting between the 841 and the 961. Why would someone want this telehandler at the 850 size versus the two that it sits between?
Sure. I mean, this is a great fit right between that 841 and 961. Same lift height as your 841, more capacity. You're going to be able to do more, pick up more, just do more overall heavy lifting with the 850 over your 841, and it's still a little bit smaller than your 961. So again, it fits right in there. It's a great product right in the middle there.
We talked in the opening about the auxiliary hydraulics, and really what makes this as versatile as it is the attachment capabilities. Question here about what are the most common or popular attachments you expect people to outfit this machine with?
Yes, generally in agricultural use, you're looking for the largest bucket you can use to move as much material as possible. Then other specific attachments such as a hay spear, as you see this machine equipped with a bucket and the grapple, very popular attachment. You can get forks, use these machines for moving palletized loads on the farm, but most of the use is going to be with bucket or with a special agricultural based attachment.
Good question here about the difference again between the 841 and the 850. So I'll ask their question, but then I'll expand on it a little bit. Is the only difference between the 841 and the 850 the 900 kg more? So maybe expand on that. What are the differences that people are going to notice between the 850 and the 841?
Yes, I would say that when you're trying to understand or sell the 850, one of the first things you're going to talk about is the higher capacity of the machine. Being able to pick and carry 11,000 pounds is an improvement over the current 841. However, the other thing you can talk about is the fact that this is a CVT transmission. So constantly variable transmission in the 850. Also, depending on how you've outfitted the machine, you have different options you can add to this machine. So you can configure this machine differently. Look at your price pages to see what those options are going to be.
Very cool. Another question here, thinking of you know, we're up in the northern states here, we think of, you know, row crop and whatnot, but a question here about cotton farming. Is this of a capacity that would be ideal for handling cotton bales, for instance?
Thank you, Bill. Yes, we've released a new cotton bale spear And for those 8-foot round cotton bales, you can pick and carry those with this new model, where the 841 just didn't have enough capacity to move those. With the 850, that does have enough capacity to manage that attachment and moving those loads.
Thank you guys so much. A lot of great questions coming in. Keep them coming. We're going to keep going here for at least another 10 minutes or so, and keep dropping those questions in. Craig here has a question. Is the faceplate for the attachments the same as the 841, or is it like the 961? Maybe let's talk about that connection point for attachments on this machine.
Is going to be the exact same connection point as on the 841.
Exact same connection point as on the 841. Perfect. We talked about the different types of tires. What are the 3 different types of tires you can get on this? I guess we didn't go into real detail on that.
Sure. There's a standard agricultural tread tire. Then we also offer a bib load tire, which is going to be better for solid surface use, Michelin bib load. Then this machine is equipped as a demonstration machine with Verdacin tires. This is going to be similar to the bib load in that it's a good tire for solid surface use, a little bit easier, more self-cleaning in this design, but similar to a bib load would be the Verdacin.
Very cool, very cool. We joked during the walk around, but it truly is one of your, Steve, I've heard you talk about it 100 times. But a question here is about, does the different mounting of the engine affect engine performance in any way? Do you have anything else that you would want to add about the way the engine is mounted on this machine?
Well, I think it's a exclusive Manitou design to have the engine mounted so you've got access to both sides of the engine. A huge benefit for maintenance and just general cleaning, access to the key components. But from a performance standpoint, you absolutely have zero loss in performance because what it connects to, the transmission, is going to perform just as well in the way that we've mounted it versus a standard mounting on an engine that runs parallel to the frame.
Very cool, very cool. Question here at the beginning, Dean, you mentioned the range of ag telehandlers. What is the smallest ag telehandler that Manitou produces?
Yeah, that's going to be in our ULM range. It's a very small, compact machine, even trailerable behind a half-ton pickup. So there's a wide variety, right? This is more on the larger end of the spectrum, and we get down to a very, very small agricultural unit that you can use all around.
Okay. Question here. Will the depth fill be affected by being so close to the fuel fill? And I think this is another opportunity to talk about that, where those fill points are and protections there that you've got.
Go ahead. First of all, you can see the depth fill has got the standard sizing and also the color to make sure that you're putting the correct fluid in the correct place. Where your diesel fuel fill is going to be very different.
We do have a question here about whether there will be a comparison table between the 841, the 850, and the 961 made available. I would just say keep your eye out on Connect, the Manitou website. Those types of comparative documents will be made available, and we'll follow up with you specifically after this event to take on that question. The question here about, and I'm guessing this person has interests in feedlots and or dairies, question about whether or not there is a camera that can be mounted to the front for looking down into where you're dumping your material.
Yes, we do have a camera mounted on the tip of the boom so you can have that view to the attachment and where the material is going. So if you are loading a truck, you want to see that you're actually placing material correctly in the truck or how even the material is as you're putting it in. where from the cab you're not able to see that because of the sides of the truck. We would call that the high view camera. It is an option for these models. You would just order that as an option. Very
cool. Question here, I know you love this, Steve. We're going to talk about the Mani Crab. The fourth steering mode mentioned for wall curb straight, which it's the Mani Crab. How does this work? Does it allow the rear to be slightly kicked out, or in that maneuver, in that scraping maneuver, and locked in with an electronic position sensor? I guess let's just talk about how that Mani Crab works.
Sure. And I can understand a little bit of a source of confusion because it is, again, a unique system to the Manitou product, something you will not find on any other agricultural telescopic handler or any other telescopic handler manufactured for North America either. Mani Crab is a modified front wheel steering system. So yes, you can place your rear wheels in whatever angle or position you'd like to have them in, and then once you're in the Mani Crab mode, you use the front wheels to make slight adjustments. And the key purpose or the reason for having that system would be if you're trying to run the bucket along the edge of a straight line in a barn or cleaning out some stalls, you want to maintain that bucket right on the edge. The rear wheels are at an angle, the front make minor adjustments to keep you running down that edge.
Very cool. Question here, and I'm gonna preface this question by saying, if you're at World Ag Expo this week, you'll be able to see a model of this there. We also will be doing quite a bit of press and media around this machine this week. This is the launch of the MLT 850, but a question here, just from the audience here, when will these machines be available at Manitou dealers here in North America?
Yes, as you said, this is the launch today. We will have inventories available to ship to dealers at the end of April, beginning of May.
Very good, very good. You mentioned the different tire types on here. Question here about other applications. Someone specifically want to know, would this work in a waste transfer station?
Yes. This tire or the bib load tire, two excellent choices for working in a waste transfer station. And that brings up just another topic. We so often think about MLT products as agricultural telescopic handlers, which is very true. They are excellent machines for that application. But there's also a multi-purpose part of the MLT product line, and that is these machines can be used in other applications where you're looking for that same ruggedness, that same toughness, the same performance that you need in agriculture. If you need that in waste management, such as a transfer station, or if you need it in an industrial application where you need the high capacity, the 11,000 pounds of this model or the 13,000 pounds of the 960, the MLT products can make that bridge from agricultural into multi-purpose use.
Question here on fuel efficiency, and maybe this is an opportunity to talk more about some of the idle and fuel efficiency features, but how is this machine on fuel efficiency compared to other ag telehandlers in the Manitou lineup?
Well, it does have a 141 horsepower engine, so it is going to use some fuel, but you know the payoff there is you're getting the performance. You're getting a machine that can handle the tasks that are going to be placed in front of it. Fuel efficiency, we do have a system called stop and start, which will automatically turn the machine, turn the engine off, and then restart the machine when you place it into gear and hit the accelerator. So that is one way to save fuel instead of just having the engine idle.
And then another eagle-eyed viewer noticed that the roof on this looks quite a bit similar to what in the construction telehandlers, or especially the MTAs, what we're calling the super view structure. Is that similar here? And I guess, Steve, I would ask, what kind of view does that have if you're looking at reaching up into high spots?
Yes, this machine and the other Manitou MLT units do feature the removal of the big thick bar that normally is used to support the cab structure. The fact that that bar has been removed you've got excellent visibility to the load and to the boom when you're going up high. You'll notice the steel plates are angled for better visibility as you're looking up. And again, this in the MLT products, we call this Super View. We don't necessarily call that feature Super View on these products, but as part of the Manitou family, we're more than happy to take good ideas and move it to other products.
And one more question here. We've got time for maybe 2 or 3 more questions. If you have any more, please drop them in the Q&A box now. Question about the boom. What makes that boom better for ground engaging than other styles of booms?
Well, I'll point out a couple of things. I know Dean covered this earlier in the walk around. He mentioned the U-shaped structure, which are basically flat steel that are bent into U shapes. That means the thickness of steel on the sides is the same as the top and the bottom. So the sides are much better, have a much greater capability to withstand side-to-side movement that you would see in a bucket or other ground engaging application. The other thing that I would point out is that it's a full hydraulic cylinder extension. There are no chains on this boom. Because it's a 2-section boom, it's simply the hydraulic cylinder that extends and retracts the boom. So you've got a very solid structure if you are going into a pile or you're trying to move material, any type of ground engaging work. This telescopic handler is so much better suited for that application than, say, a standard North American lift-in-place telescopic handler.
And then last question we have here right now, it sounds like this person has interest in either a feedlot or a mixing trailer on a dairy. How does the machine perform in close quarters when approaching and dumping into a bin?
Performs excellently. You've got very tight turning radius. The machine, even though it's got greater capacity than the 841, still more or less has about the same footprint as the 841. So it hasn't grown dramatically even to have that greater capacity. So your turning radius very tight. Your visibility as you're making that tight maneuver, excellent. As you can see over the top of the boom, you've got excellent visibility to all 4 tires, all corners of the machine. And then if you wish, you can also enhance that visibility with the optional camera system.
Very cool. And with that, that comes to an end of the questions we have from the audience. Thank you all so much for joining us here today. We hope that you have a great weekend. Just as a reminder, if we didn't answer your question here live, one of the gentlemen here or another member of the Manitou team will be reaching out to answer those questions for you. And as always, you can go and talk to your local Manitou dealer for more information on this exciting new MLT 850 Ag Telehandler being added to the full lineup of Ag Telehandlers for Manitou now. Thank you guys all for joining us today. Have a great weekend. Last question, Chiefs or Eagles?
Chiefs.
Eagles.
Eagles. All right, we're split. No, I'm going to go Eagles. I'm breaking the tie. Have a great weekend, everybody. We'll see you soon.